Most people believe confidence arrives after life finally becomes easy. They imagine there will be a morning when the uncertainty disappears, the questions are answered, the fear fades into the background, and every challenge has already been solved by someone wiser, stronger, or more experienced. They wait for that version of themselves as if confidence is a destination waiting somewhere beyond enough money, enough knowledge, enough approval. But confidence has never worked that way. It is born much earlier, in a place most people avoid. It begins the moment there is nobody left to rescue you. That moment rarely announces itself. It doesn't arrive with dramatic music or life-changing speeches. It slips quietly into ordinary days. A decision no one can make for you. A mistake no one can fix. A responsibility that suddenly belongs to your name alone. At first, it feels unfair. Then uncomfortable. Then terrifying. Because for the first time, you discover the difference between having support and depending on it. Most people spend years trying to eliminate discomfort without realizing discomfort is introducing them to themselves. That is why two people can experience the same setback and walk away as entirely different people. One spends months searching for someone to blame, someone to explain what happened, someone to carry the emotional weight. The other eventually accepts a difficult truth: whether the situation was fair has stopped mattering. The problem exists. And now it belongs to them. That acceptance looks insignificant from the outside. Internally, it changes everything. Because the human mind is strange. Every time another person solves a problem for you, your brain quietly stores a message beneath the surface. You probably couldn't have done this alone. It doesn't matter whether anyone actually says those words. Repeated enough times, your mind begins whispering them on its own. Slowly, dependence disguises itself as safety. You stop trusting your own judgment because someone else's always seems faster. You hesitate before making simple decisions because you've trained yourself to believe certainty only comes from outside your own thinking. Eventually, you become surrounded by capable people while secretly feeling incapable yourself. The tragedy isn't that other people helped. The tragedy is that you slowly forgot what you were capable of becoming without needing them every single time. Children experience this in fascinating ways. Watch a child trying to tie their shoes. It is messy, frustrating, painfully slow. Their hands move awkwardly. The loops collapse. They become impatient. Every adult watching feels the temptation to step in and finish the task within seconds. But something extraordinary happens if nobody interrupts too early. Eventually, after enough failed attempts, their fingers understand what their mind couldn't explain. The success feels completely different because it belongs entirely to them. That feeling never disappears as we grow older. Only the problems change. Instead of shoelaces, it becomes finances, careers, relationships, grief, identity, purpose. The pattern remains identical. Our first instinct is often to search outward. Who has the answer? Who already figured this out? Who can tell me what to do? There is wisdom in learning from others. There is nothing wrong with guidance. Civilization itself depends on shared knowledge. But there is a line people rarely notice crossing. Learning from someone is completely different from borrowing their certainty. One expands you. The other slowly replaces you. Think about the people who appear remarkably calm under pressure. They aren't calm because life has protected them from chaos. Usually, the opposite is true. They've encountered enough uncertainty that uncertainty no longer feels unfamiliar. Every difficult situation became another piece of evidence. I survived before. Not because someone guaranteed success. Because experience quietly taught them they could think, adapt, recover, and continue. Confidence is often misunderstood as believing nothing will go wrong. Real confidence is believing that even if everything goes wrong, you will eventually find a way through. That belief cannot be inherited. It cannot be purchased. It cannot be borrowed. It has to be earned through repeated encounters with uncertainty. This is why solving your own problems changes more than the problems themselves. Each solution rewrites your internal identity. Instead of seeing yourself as someone who needs rescue, you begin seeing yourself as someone capable of responding. That subtle change affects decisions long before the next challenge appears. Psychologists sometimes describe self-efficacy as the belief in your ability to influence outcomes through your own actions. Interestingly, that belief doesn't primarily grow through praise or positive thinking. It grows through mastery experiences, moments when you struggle, persist, and eventually succeed. The struggle isn't an obstacle to confidence. It is the mechanism that creates it. Imagine carrying heavy boxes every day. At first, they feel impossible. Months later, the exact same weight feels ordinary. The boxes didn't become lighter. You became stronger. Problems work similarly. People often wish life would stop presenting challenges. But if challenges disappeared completely, something unexpected would disappear alongside them. Evidence. Evidence that you can survive. Evidence that you can adapt. Evidence that your mind is more resourceful than fear first suggests. Without that evidence, anxiety fills the empty space. The unknown feels larger because you have forgotten how many unknowns you've already conquered. Fear has remarkable memory for failure. Growth requires equally remarkable memory for resilience. There is another psychological trap hidden inside constant rescue. When someone always fixes your difficulties, your emotional relationship with mistakes changes. Mistakes begin feeling dangerous instead of educational. You avoid responsibility because responsibility now carries the risk of exposing what you haven't learned yet. Ironically, avoiding problems creates larger ones. Not immediately. Quietly. Skills never practiced remain permanently fragile. Decisions never made independently remain emotionally exhausting. Conversations never faced honestly become lifelong sources of avoidance. The price of comfort is rarely paid today. It is paid years later when ordinary situations feel overwhelming because the muscles required to handle them were never allowed to develop. Many people mistake this feeling for weakness. It isn't weakness. It is simply unfamiliarity. Humans fear what they haven't practiced. That is why the first independent decision often feels terrifying while the 10th feels routine. The external difficulty may not change. Your relationship with uncertainty does. There comes a point in adulthood when life quietly removes the training wheels. Nobody announces it. Nobody congratulates you. One day you realize no one is coming with the perfect instructions. No one possesses the exact blueprint for your circumstances. Everyone is improvising more than they appear. The people you admire have simply become more comfortable carrying unanswered questions. They no longer confuse uncertainty with incapability. That realization can feel disappointing. It can also feel incredibly freeing. Because if no one has complete certainty, then perfection was never the requirement. Adaptation was. Perhaps that is why some of the strongest people you've ever met rarely describe themselves as fearless. They remember exactly how afraid they were. They simply remember something else even more clearly. They remember surviving. Every difficult chapter left behind invisible proof that became part of their identity. Not visible on their faces. Not written on certificates. Hidden inside the quiet confidence that says, I've handled difficult things before. Life continues presenting new problems because life keeps changing. There is no final exam after which difficulty permanently disappears. Every stage introduces different questions. The person who understands this stops chasing a problem-free existence. Instead, they become someone who trusts their ability to face whatever arrives next. That shift changes everything. The goal is no longer controlling every outcome. The goal becomes developing a mind that remains steady even when outcomes refuse to cooperate. And perhaps this is the deepest power of solving your own problems. The solution itself is temporary. Another challenge will eventually replace it. But the person created while solving it remains. Long after the circumstances have changed. Long after the fear has faded. Long after nobody else remembers what happened. One day you'll encounter another obstacle that initially feels impossible. For a brief moment, the old doubt will return. It always does. It will ask whether you're capable, whether you're prepared, whether you're enough. But if you listen carefully, another voice will answer. Not with empty optimism. Not with certainty. With memory. It will remind you of every difficult path you once believed you couldn't walk, every answer you thought you would never find, every version of yourself that seemed impossible until it quietly became your reality. And perhaps the greatest transformation isn't that your life becomes easier. It's that you stop measuring your future by the size of the problem in front of you. You begin measuring it by the person you've already become while solving the ones behind you. Because in the end, people rarely remember the exact obstacles that shaped them. They remember the moment they realized they no longer needed someone else to tell them they could make it through. That realization is silent. Invisible. Almost impossible for anyone else to notice. Yet from that day forward, every new challenge feels different. Not because the world became gentler, but because, somewhere along the way, you quietly became someone who no longer waits to be rescued.